Is it just you and I, Alyssa?
Think so. Because
I'm
Mandy's
not really sure. Oh,
right.
Mandy's not here yet. Yep.
Or is she ill or she are fires or
She's affected by the fires.
how about you? How are you doing with all that? Because are you in LA County? Yeah.
Yeah, my kids' schools are closed. LAUSD is all closed. My sisters had no power. My brother-in-law's evacuated, but we're
Oh,
safe, so that's okay.
very cool. All right, let me see if I can get on the Zoom. STD.
Is this a focus area that we've already have a survey from?
Um, not, yeah, it's handout 3B-1, focus area 2, initial recommendation development.
Okay.
Breakout rooms,
Oh, I see it. Okay.
scaffolding there we go.
There we go. Okay. I see
Oh, look at that nice picture, Elisa Brown. What a beautiful headshot. Here we go.
it.
Ooh, that looks a lot different. When did I take that picture? It must have been a while ago. Yeah. Okay. Um,
Do you have access to the Google Slides?
hey, you know what? I don't, but I have the text here. Maybe I should ask. Maybe I should go and find Adam and ask him for that again. Initial, because we looked at the other one, but I don't have the. Hi, Adam. Do you have this on Google Slides or are we going through this? Is there,
Is Vanessa's recorder?
yeah, either Vanessa or I. I'm on the Zoom
Okay. I can
as
do one. Would
well.
you like me to send it to you?
Yeah, that would be great.
And then, so are,
If there nobody else is joining this room, then I can just do it on the computer with Vanessa.
okay. And then I'll just send it to both of you.
Great.
And then it's also attached to the agenda for the day, like the online agenda, all the handouts.
Yeah.
Lisa, can you remind me of your role again? Are you familiar with the design of EdTPA or CalTPA?
Um, I I only see. I am not familiar with the design. I only see the end result of and that's pretty recently.
Do you know what room she's supposed to be in?
Yeah. So yeah, I've only seen grads um submissions after they've passed. And a few
Because
haven't passed, so.
from what I remember, after presenting these recommendations, recommendation three, I believe someone from one of the ed, or somebody commented and said that we tried to do this and it wasn't a system that worked. So, but I'm not completely familiar with the design of it, so I was just unsure of how to proceed. Do we just, I don't know, rewrite the recommendations to just, should we just rewrite these recommendations to be more streamlined?
Yeah, I think we're just kind of going through and looking at these similarly to the ones that we did before and if the making sure if there's any other changes or whatnot that need to be made. And you said there was something about number 3, so we just skip forward to number 3.
I see the person from CTC. I don't know your name, but hello. Could you give us some context to what I was just bringing up? Oh, you're muted. Sorry. Hi, Al.
Yes. Hi.
Hey.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone in this group. I'm Phyllis Jacobson. That's my little signature over there. I was trying to stay off camera because as you can hear from my voice, I've been a little sick this week, so I'm not necessarily at my best, but I have been listening. As a staff member, I understand that we are able to respond to any question you might have if we have knowledge. So if I can be helpful to you, I would gladly do that. I have worked for over 20 years in the TPA area. I was part of the team that implemented the Cal TPA when it was first developed, up until the point that it was redeveloped. And I was also in charge of examinations at the time and served as the person in charge of the technical group that reviewed the other 2 exams for approval. Excuse me, I apologize. I'm running out of usable oxygen. So if I can be helpful, I would be glad to do that.
Well, I had a question about, and it seems like I didn't scroll long enough because it says staff feedback, perhaps consider leaving a number of segments more flexible. But I wanted to know what the context was of why TPA being broken into 3 segments and what the history of breaking it into chunks was like.
Okay. I can speak for the design of the Cal TPA. The Ed
Okay.
TPA has pretty typically been one unified set of experiences done together. The FAST system has always been a number of separate different tasks because they've designed that to fit the model of their own program. And in case you were wondering why the FAST is only in Fresno, it was at their own request because they felt they did not have the depth of staff time and availability to help train others. And that's the only reason that it is restricted to the use by Fresno only. Originally, the Cal TPA did have 3 tasks, and it was found that the assessment was more repetitious, that it took longer, and that it didn't necessarily need to be that complex. And so the number of tasks was reduced to 2 in the 2 key, at least for multiple subject. It was reduced to 2 tasks that focused on the 2 major content areas of literacy writ large, reading literacy, and all of the attendant subdivisions of reading and literacy, and mathematics, because those were felt to be the most 2 important areas to focus on for the multiple subject credential. For the single subject credential, of course, it went along with whichever content area the candidates were in.
Thank you. But that's specific to Cal TPA. Does Ed TPA have 3 cycles?
No,
From what I understand, no.
I
So
think it's
all
just
of them
hard.
have.
Yeah.
it is a single lengthier in time
Mhm.
frame set of activities around a single lesson topic or theme. And it is typically done later in the program because of the fact that it is so much more encompassing. Whereas the Cal TPA was designed so that the very first task, whether it was math or it was the literacy focused task, could be done earlier in the program to give candidates kind of a head start on accomplishing the TPA and getting feedback earlier in the system, or in the process, I should say.
Okay.
This conversation that we were having too around the whether the TPA could be or is like a linear event versus can it be implemented as a web event?
And as a what, I'm sorry, as a what event?
as a web event, like learning is either, is learning linear or can it be web-like with connections to, so like
Oh,
if a
okay.
candidate hasn't yet experienced something, can they still do
Yes.
learning about stuff? So
Mhm.
remember we were having this conversation when we were talking about this recommendation number 3.
So yeah, so the design of the TPA or the Cal TPA, if you're asking about that one, was specifically to provide candidates with the opportunity to exemplify what the state has determined is effective teaching practice, including learning about your students, understanding their assets and valuing those assets in the process, planning for instruction based on what you know about the students and the assets that they bring to with them, designing the lesson, implementing the lesson, thinking and reflecting on what happened, doing an assessment. There's a series of steps which the candidate can stretch out over as much time as they need before they complete that sequence of tasks. So yes, they can be increasing their knowledge as they go along in each of those tasks because they are meant to exemplify the process of learning to teach.
Thank you.
So do we want to look at recommendation 1 and kind of go through a similar process of saying, is there any adds or edits or anything, and then go through to,
So if I might say in your recommendation 1, I'm not offering opinion here. That's not my role. I'm just trying to provide a fact for you. It is the case that there are length restrictions on the submissions as is. So just so you know that in the
Yeah.
existing TPA.
Yeah, I heard that earlier and it caused me to question then what amount of time is spent and why they're varying submissions with different lengths of writing submissions.
Um, I I'm not an expert in the implementation of this. I can only tell you that in the design of the assessment, each individual segment has a recommended length limit on how much the candidate needs to provide in response.
maybe should we say by revisiting implementation of length restrictions? Or revising or something to say like somebody needs something in something's not happening in implementation that is translating for candidates, for all candidates. So how do we make that language happen?
Well, I wonder how do we know? Well, it makes me wonder, how do we know? How do we know that candidates are they reporting that they're spending a great deal of time on this, or are we seeing reports of them submitting documents that are too long? Um, what information did we have that why do we have this? I guess would be the thing.
Yeah.
Is it
Well,
anecdotal? Is it just, you know what I mean?
hmm.
So,
Well, my thought is all of the comments were just talking about it's a waste of time, the time that they're putting into making these submissions sound appropriate for the assessment. Um,
was
so
there
that
an assumption that it had to do with the length that was creating that length of time? You know what I mean?
yeah, no, yeah. Well, I don't know. And there were a
Right.
couple of comments that had to do with writing and the discrepancy between writing submissions and things like that. So I don't know. Is the workload overwhelming because of the amount of writing tasks, right? Is that the question?
I'm wondering
Or
if we need to unpack it because maybe there were a couple of assumptions in place, like, okay, well, if this is already in place and we're just duplicating something in place, and maybe there were some assumptions in place, like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's not the length of the task that's creating, like, let's just back up a few steps, right? Okay, so what were the candidates actually saying, you know, and what was actually going on?
It's a waste of time.
Right.
And so one of the questions I
Right.
posed to Adam and the chairs was, where are the candidates spending the most of their time? Is
Time.
it
Yeah.
through the platform? Is it through
Right.
the actual writing tasks? And they were able to, they sent me some information about how much time it takes to actually submit, because my additional thought process was I have to sit on a computer and I have to spend 2 hours uploading and re-uploading and resubmitting and editing and doing all of these things. Is that the time consumption that we're trying to eliminate? Or is it the repetitive of tasks and things like that? So I
Right.
can bring up the information that they gave me about like the time they spend on the platform, because I was questioning, well, is it the platform that the issue is that they're having with the amount of time that they're spending? But it also, I think it's two part. I'll show you that part, but I think it's two parts. I think it's the tediousness of actually submitting the thing on the platform, in addition to like it's an added workload, in addition to the actual content being repetitive and
Mhm.
uh, not relevant, I guess irrelevant to the real world. Let me look for
I
the
kind of want to go
information that they
back to
had
our
sent me.
comments. I know I'm like going, I
Hmm.
kind of want to back up and see what we were, because we were responding to something in particular. Um,
I know that the candidates who share their finalized TPs are entire like Google folders within Google folders of all the different things that they have to upload to the platform. And I imagine also from the comments that people were making this morning in the written public written comments, that a lot of that is also like trying to follow the numerous directions,
right.
the rubrics of like how to submit and what is exactly submittable. Submittable? I don't know.
Right. Right. Which is not about the length so much as,
More of yeah.
yeah, this other piece, right? Which we're not really addressing in this.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, so it sounds like um workload required by the TPA be reduced for candidates. Maybe there needs to be another statement in there by
Streamlining. Um,
I like what Jason did, so I'm gonna put the ads in red
yeah.
like that. If
Sort of,
that's okay with everybody.
Yeah, their recommendations were so pretty.
yeah, streamlining, simplifying, something like that. Like something like that. I don't know. I don't.
Process directions.
Mhm.
I'm a implementing, or maybe not implementing. Maybe we say uh I don't know, what's a better word than pointing to?
Hang on, let me get over to the page. Let's see.
Highlighting, maybe highlighting.
Mm, hold on a second.
It's to just freestyling in it here. Um
Mm,
If we say highlighting length restrictions on written responses, that indicates that there are already length restrictions on written responses that people are not either not noticing or not abiding by, or like, sorry, I maybe
But
highlight.
from
How
what
about
I understand, from when I took the CalAPA, anything past the recommended pages, I was told wouldn't even be considered. So I don't think they're allowed to write more than what um the suggested pages is.
Okay,
So
we
that's
just
why I'm trying to figure out where is their time actually going? Because if there's already writing restrictions and page restrictions,
how
I don't know. I don't want to take it out. I like that's already there. So how can we make it so that
okay, I just played with the
I don't know.
sentence.
Okay.
I wrote this sentence. It doesn't really, okay, well, okay, I wrote, we recommend streamlining the TPA exam structure by reducing the number of rubrics, minimizing extraneous instructions, clarifying the essential guidelines so candidates can focus on demonstrating their competencies rather than navigating overly complex requirements, like that navigational piece. Um, like, let's see, but that doesn't have I'm just trying to like tease out that it's because it may not actually be the task. It sounds like it is the actual design of the instructions and the rubrics and the navigational part, right? So trying to be like, we want them to be able to focus on the doing, the navigating overly complex requirements, like extraneous instructions, clarifying essential guidelines, and reducing numbers of rubrics. I don't know. Is
Yeah.
that the direction?
I like that, but I would love to keep this eliminating duplicative activities, and the idea of like activities are contextualized in real world teaching context. I feel like that's important to keep, because part of this is also making recommendations about scaffolding and sequencing tasks. The teacher is like, why am I spending all this time, writing up these scenarios, and I'm like in the classroom and I have a lesson that I have to put in front of kids tomorrow. You want those two things to like be to bridge, or ideally that they're using whatever they're writing in the TPA, that's contextually real life for them, that they're expanding and bridging upon that. But I feel like the experience of teachers is that they make this whole thing that they see has nothing to do with their classroom teaching, and then it becomes extraneous and all.
Okay.
One thing that I did when I was a program coordinator is I would use the teacher performance assessment lesson plan and video as a formal observation as part of their program. So it wasn't another thing we have to do. It's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's Cal TPA model. And then I would take 2 to 3 observations from their Cal TPA too, because it's a series of lessons in a progression. And so by doing something like that, it made it what we're doing, not an extra thing to do, not a duplicative thing. We have to do 12 observations per year. It's required. So now we just took 4 and put them here into this bucket. And it allowed for them to get some really good feedback from their mentor, from their cooperating teacher, from one another, to be able to really look at that teaching and see, you know what, maybe this lesson wasn't so good. So maybe I'll choose something different and record that tomorrow, and it'll still be another formal observation, right? Because you don't lose anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's great. I'm over here wordsmithing, playing around. How does this sound? We recommend streamlining the TPA exam structure by reducing the number of rubrics and instructions, streamlining directions, eliminating duplicate activities, and incorporating contextualized real-world teaching scenarios so that candidates can focus on demonstrating their competencies without navigating unnecessary complexity.
Nice.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat if you wanted. I don't know. I'm just
Go ahead, put it in the chat. I will find it here. Let me see.
okay. Just give me a second. I'm working on like 3 devices over here. I'm like, yeah. Okay. Just give me a second. Let's see. Oh, where is the chat? Let's see.
Exactly. Where is it?
This is hard. It's harder than it's harder than it needs to be. Let's see. I'm not that great at this. Where is the chat? Oh boy.
Logged into the Zoom.
I gotta stop
Oh, yeah.
sharing so I can find my chat. Here it is. It's under the more
Thank you.
docs, breakout rooms, captions. Where's the chat?
I don't have a chat.
Why can't
I don't think they have chat
You know what? Can I
activated
send? I'll
on these.
send you.
I've been trying to do it earlier.
I'll send an email. How about that?
Say if you both have access to the doc, you might be able to just drop it into the notes and she could copy and paste it in there for you.
I don't. We only gave the recorder access to the doc.
Oh no, I have access to the doc too, so
Oh,
I
you
think all
do?
3 of us do. Yeah, so yeah,
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Where would I have
I just
access
have
to
it
that?
folded up.
how do I give this to you? Because it looks like anybody with the link can edit right now. So
Oh, okay. Well, my CTC ca.gov is Alicia.Herrera. That would work. I don't see it in my email. I don't know how else I would have gotten it. How else would I have gotten it?
what's your email again?
It's ALICIA dot
I can just forward this one
HERRERA.
forward. HER what?
Herrera, HERRERA. So at our,
At CTC.org.
yeah. No, it's our work one here. It's let's see what it is. Hang on a sec.
CTC.
.ca.gov.
Of.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I'll get you. All right. Okay. There we go.
Back to this. Yeah. Let's see. I can do this thing again. There we go.
Is it in the, let's see, Tuesday? No, I don't.
Did you get it?
No, I haven't gotten any emails. Let's see. Is it the focus area 3 brainstorm? No, that's not it.
Initial recommendation. Okay. Uh-oh. It says
Oh,
address.
it's because they do first name, last name. It's Alicia, ALICIA dot Herrera.
It's here.
That's
Just get Adam to send this to you.
Yeah, I'll send it to you right now. How are you guys doing?
Alicia.
Yeah, absolutely. How are you guys doing on time?
We need to get 2 more.
Okay, we're gonna go to 1:30, but that's a
1:30,
hard
okay.
stop. Do you think you guys can hammer to that? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, one more time.
Okay.
Forward. Herrera.
It's ALICIA. There's a first name first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think for first ALICIA dot HERERA at
CTC
yeah,
dot.
yeah.
Oh, there.
CA, yeah, that's ca.gov, I think is what we are. It's the one for this. Yeah, that should do it. Okay. Let's
Yeah.
see. Okay. It's the one they gave us, for this.
All right, I'm going to ask a different question.
Okay.
Is scaffolding and sequencing tasks something that we should consider into embedding?
Mhm.
Oh, this is embedding. Never mind. How are we going to embed, or how is the embedding of the TPA going to, or what scaffolding and sequencing tasks do we need to adjust for improving program's ability to embed the TPA, correct?
Right.
Well, is this is this in terms of two folds, right? Like one embedded in program for support and two, thinking about the assessment itself, like uh, scaffolding and sequencing those tasks of like how are they showing up in the assessment themselves? Um, and is there things that like that question of do they need to do something before they do something? That's also how I'm kind of thinking about this as well. It's like, um, are there recommendations around, how many tasks there should be? What should those tasks look like? Are there scaffolds for that task? Or and such things like that you could also read into this. Did you, Alicia, did you get, oh,
I got it. I responded to you. I sent it back in an email so you could be the one to do it. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be actually editing in there.
yeah,
Oh no, the breakout room is going to close.
I just said I ignored it. Ignore. So I'll come back
Okay.
in if I get kicked out, but there it is.
Okay.
So do with it what you will.
there we go. I'll just put it in.
And I didn't know if I didn't say the RDI what work group recommends. It was just a sentence I wrote. So you might want to fuss with it a little bit before you just dump it on there, I don't know.
Try this. So I think in the second sentence, reducing the process. Because we're not reducing workload, we're reducing process.
There it goes. There it
Oh,
goes. There it goes.
Okay.
No, now it's closing again.
No. Lisa!
We're not sure why.
Zoom is not cooperating with us.
Huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Can you hear us now?
Can you
Yeah.
hear us? Yeah,
Yeah.
but now we're gonna be kicked out.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about adding the word in front of like the reducing the workload, saying like the navigational workload, so that it's clear that we wanted them to fix the structure and the actual way that things are created in the TPA, not necessarily just, I mean, of course we would like less TPA, but like that what we were speaking to in the paragraph was like the yeah, exactly.
Do we all agree with that?
I don't know if we do, but I that's what I wanted to talk about.
Reducing the navigation. Oh,
Ooh. Sorry, I'm sharing interrupted your
I'm wondering about the idea of
main. Here it is. So processing times, this is what they were able to send me. So for EdTPA, it was like task 1, part A, upload this document. It takes this many seconds. So then I just put into ChatGPT. I added all these up and then put how much is this? And this one alone is 9 hours. And this is EdTPA. I didn't do CalTPA, but let me go back.
Okay. Okay. So the idea that it takes many hours just to upload the documents.
Should we stop talking?
yeah.
In shorter time, we gotta hit quick edits on the things that you want from the recommendation.
Okay.
7 more minutes, and we've got 2 more. So
Okay.
let's take a look.
Well, so that's I was saying if we want to go back to recommendation 1,
Just quickly.
or quickly by reducing the number of rubrics, sorry, the number of, I want to say something of page submissions or something.
Streamline
Rubrics, instructions.
instead of streamlining directions, put rubric instructions there.
Yep. And you could say the number of hours spent on rubrics, instruction, or the time spent or something, or this recommendation is necessary because of the time spent on the current expectations, or something like that,
I want to say something about reducing the number of current pages
that
expected, or the expected page. No, I don't know how exactly to word that, but I think that's the piece that
I would do it quick
could go into nuance. Yeah. Right, because
she's right. But just put it in there and quick and we'll move on, and I'm sure someone will want to make it pretty.
And so you have access to this as well, right?
Yeah, I do. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, just
go, Vanessa, go.
Streamline rubric and eliminating. Oh, I'm saying what would be a good term for reducing the number of page somethings, streamlining rubric instructions, like just replacing this.
Of page somethings.
Word count. Pages submitted.
Yep. There you go. Done.
Okay, next. Streamlining rubric instructions. Okay, next one. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that was not lost in nuance.
Yep. Okay, the RDI work group.
Yeah, this has come up already today.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think
okay,
it's one of those that
that's fine.
could,
Move on.
yeah, move on. We could vote on it or we can not and comment
Okay,
on it.
all right.
Yeah.
Number 3.
I'm sorry, I
Um,
have to take a phone call from my daughter's
That's
doctor.
okay, go,
So I'll
go, go,
see you
go.
guys on the other side.
Yep. Okay. Can we just say instead of 3 segments, can we just say multiple segments and then let that come out in the wash? It sounds like there's a lot of discussion around the specific number of segments, and that may not be a hill that we in particular need to die on, but that it needs to be more than one in order for it to be formative. You know, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So if we just say multiple, that means more than one, and then it's not summative anymore.
That are contained.
Or at least it has a chance of not being summative.
Contained within existing coursework and reflected in program standards. Coursework that is assigned and evaluated by faculty should be used for the TPA submission. Basically, just tying it back to coursework.
Uh-huh.
Intent of this recommendation, not to expand the coursework of the programs, but to revise learning outcomes and the coursework to align with TPEs and TPA.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Duplicity.
Is duplicity, hang on, duplicity. We need a little vocabulary check here. Let's see.
Means like sneaky, doesn't
Right.
it?
Yeah.
Duplicative,
Duplicative, yes. Yeah.
nature of experiences.
Mm-hmm. Or redundant or something like that.
To eliminate duplicative experiences. Yeah, there we go. Boom. Okay. Group project done.
Okay.
Go team. And I took that phone call and we're back.
You have 2 minutes to as a hard
Nice.
1:30, 2 minutes. So
My daughter fractured her toe 6 weeks ago exactly now. And the conversation was, is it healed? Does she need an x-ray? Okay, bye.
Okay. Yikes. Ouch.
I know.
yeah, she's okay.
Was
She's
it the
totally fine. I have to
Mhm.
remind her that it was fractured.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So that's good.
that is good.
All right.
Okay.
I think I feel confident with these recommendations as of now. And I think after the survey, because I also think some of these are overlapping
They
with
are.
some of the other ones that we already.
Okay. Changing 3 to multiple, is that okay with you, Vanessa? Just to
Yes,
keep it,
yeah, yes.
because obviously there's a huge
Mhm.
history around that, and that's not a history that we know, but other people
Yeah.
do know, and then they can work that
Yes.
out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the conversation we were in last time,
Yeah.
Elle, and somebody said, like, well, we
Yeah.
tried that, it didn't work.
Right.
And we didn't
Exactly.
have that background.
Exactly.
Cool.
So we'll leave that to those who do.
All right.
We did it.
Okay.
I'll see you into the other room.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yay.